Okay. In the last three sessions, what we discussed. The first session, it's all about Q&A. The second session, we discussed about the set of applications which we are going to learn as a part of the program. And from each application, what key areas we are going to focus and what are the different product families we have and what does it mean by Oracle, Fusion, Finance and applications we discussed. In the last session, yesterday's session, we focused on what does it mean by cloud. If any company is going to use cloud applications, what are the different options or models are available? Those points we focused. SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. And in case of SaaS and PaaS, we get application access. In case of IaaS, no applications. It's all about storage space. Also, we discussed what does it mean by customizations, very high level, to understand the difference between SaaS and PaaS. And when you can call Fusion applications as a cloud applications, that point also discussed. If the deployment is on-premise, then without cloud, you can call that application. If applications are deployed within the cloud, you have to use the term called as cloud. But mostly we call as Oracle Fusion Financials or Oracle Fusion applications. Always remember, there is a hidden term called as cloud. So that's the reality. Now, so let's talk about what are the different environments we can use when we are part of the project. So you are in the project. So we need to get access to the Fusion applications. We need to get access to Fusion applications. So typically, we could see different environments for a different purpose when we are part of implementation project. So the environments, just let me take some drawing here. The software what we are going to use from Oracle for Fusion Financials or SCM, HCM, PPM, you take any track name, any application you are going to use, that copy we have to get from Oracle. The software copy we have to get as a virtual environment, virtual server. The software copy what we get from Oracle, that we call as instance. That we call as instance. Instance is nothing but copy of the software. The software copy we are calling as instance. The software copy we are calling as instance. If you want to call it as environment, yes, you can call. You can call it as environment also. For now, let's take this name. Later we'll see that. We call as instance. So this instance, the software copy, that instance we use for different purposes. So what are the instances we are using? We use for different purposes. Let's look into what are the different purposes, how we can name based on the purpose. So when we are in the project, so we use different instances. Just I'm making 3 different copies here. So these are the 3 instances. When we start with the implementation as a finance functional consultant, initially we start working on the instance called as test instance. Test. Okay, test instance. When we are part of implementation project, the very initial instance what we access is test instance. In the test instance, we test all the application functionalities and we present to the client. It's a testing purpose. Testing purpose we can use it. Once we test everything, if it is okay for the client, all the setups, here we test, before that we do the setups also. If everything is working fine, then we facilitate the instance called as production instance for the client. Production instance. Production instance is the one which client is going to use for their day-to-day business transaction recording purpose. That means the production is the real instance. Production instance is the real instance. Test, yes, just for testing purpose we use. So payables, receivables. In payables, we create suppliers, you create invoices, you make the payments, and you test it, you create the bank accounts. In receivables, you create the customers, you create the sales invoices, you create the receipts. In fixed assets, you create the assets, you calculate the depreciation, you test first as a consultant. If everything is working fine, we present the same to the client. We will show to the client, see, this is how it is working. So this is how it works. So that's how we have to present to the client. For that purpose, we use test instance. And once everything is tested, if everything is working fine, we facilitate production instance to the client. Means we finalize the solution, what they are doing, how that can be done in the fusion applications. We present to the client. Then once they accept, we facilitate production instance to the client. We facilitate production instance to the client. Then client will start using the production. They will record the real business transaction. Say your implementation duration is 1 year. Take example. 1 year is the implementation duration. Mostly around 7 months, we generally work on the test instance. So we take the client business data and we set up the system, we test, we show to the client, we take their acceptance, and we present the system to the client, how it works, and they come up with their sort of requirements. They'll ask the questions, we will help them. That's how we provide the solution. Once solution is provided, then they will be ready to use, that they use within the production instance. Okay, production is the real instance which can be used by client. Test instance, client they don't use. As a consultant, we use this for testing purpose and presentation purpose, and if required for training purpose. But these are the different purposes why we use this test instance. And in between test and production, there is one more instance. We discussed, if we are going to do any sort of customizations, the technical team, they have to work on the various components, various technical objects. You can call as a technical objects. For various technical objects are to create these different technical components. The technical team, technical consultants need separate instance. That instance we can maintain separately. That instance we call as development instance. Okay, development instance. We call as development instance. So development instance can be used by technical consultants. So they create all the developments, creating the new pages, creating the new applications if required, performing the integrations, whatever they create, all they will test in this development instance. As a functional consultant, we use test instance to test standard application, which is a functional area, and development instance is used by technical consultants to develop any customizations. The same developments they test in the development instance. It means the test instance is used by functional consultants, development instance is used by technical consultants. In some projects, the same instance, the test instance, can be used by functional consultants to perform the functional testing, and also technical consultants also can use the test instance. Sometimes you see test instance name with the development instance, but you have to understand ultimate purpose, what purpose we are using that instance. Okay, based on the purpose, we can name the instance. Based on the purpose, we can name the instance. So by looking at the names, we don't need to worry about it. What purpose we are using. Say client is using one instance to record their day-to-day business transactions. Just call it as a production instance. As a functional consultants, we are using instance for testing purpose. Call it as a test instance. Say there is another instance which is used by technical consultants where they are doing the developments, where they are doing the customizations and they are testing. Since technical consultants are using the instance for customizations, creation, testing, just call it as a development instance. Sometimes the same instance we can use for functional testing and development purpose. That you can call it as a test or that you can call as a development instance also. So one instance can be used for two purposes also, but production always for real transaction purpose. That we never use for multiple purposes, only one purpose. Once implementation is done, say up to 7 months, you may work on the test instance. Then once everything is fine, then you set up production, then they start using the production. So this is how the reality works. So along with these instances in the real projects, when we are working, these are the different instances we see. Along with these instances, you generally come across the instance called as, let me put here and write the name, vision instance. So the instances what we are discussing as a test, development, production, these instances you see when you are working for any project. When you are working for any project, you see these instances. But vision instance is the one which you see outside of the projects. Now, for training purpose, we are going to use vision instance. When you join in any company, the company can have vision instance. When you are in the project, you don't find any vision instance for any client. What is the difference between vision instance and remaining three instances? What are the instances you get when you are in the project? Those are fresh instances. There won't be any sample data. There won't be any sample data. So these are the fresh instances which Oracle is providing for the clients so that we implement, then they will use it. But vision instance, Oracle is providing for training purposes and internal usage purposes in the companies or any training purposes. Within the vision instance, you find sample data. Sample data. If you go to vision instance, you find suppliers, you find customers, you find AP invoices, AP payments. If you go to receivables, you find the sales invoices, receipts. If you go to fixed assets, you'll find sample assets, depreciation, etc., etc. In every application, Oracle is providing the sample data. So that environment we call as a vision instance. Why we are using the name as vision? When Oracle started creating the vision instance, they used the name as a vision, company name as a vision. Since they used company name called as a vision for sample company, the instance itself we call as a vision instance. If you create some setups, say Oracle created sample data with ABC company, then we can call it as ABC instance. But when you are in the project, we no need to deal with a vision instance. We deal with the test and production. Technical consultants, they deal with the development instance. So this is what we have to understand when we talk about instances. The vision instance we never use for any clients. Okay, these vision instances we never use for the clients. Vision instance only we can use as a consultant for training, testing, and other purposes when you are not in the project. If you are in the project, so we will have a dedicated instances for the client. So we focus on those instances, we work on those instances. So that's how it works. Okay, so test, development, production. So these instances you can call as environment also. And before that, let me just give you short names. This development instance you can call as dev instance. Okay, you can call as dev instance. Instead of calling as development all the time, simply you can call as dev instance. Dev instance is nothing but development instance. Instead of calling it as a production instance, simply we call as prod instance. Okay, dev instance and prod instance. These are the short names. Test, it's already short name. There is no other shortcut. It's a test instance. So that's how we can use the short names for these instances like dev, prod instances. Prod means production, dev means development. And instances you can call as environments also. You can call as test environment, development environment, production environment. Instead of calling as an instance, you can call as environment. So you can say test environment. The same way you can say development environment. Say environment, and you can say production environment or prod environment. This is the terminology we use. And other name also we have to represent these environments. Those we can call as pod. Okay, pod. Like iPod, these you can call as pods. Since these are cloud environments, very much lightweight. That is the reason you can call instance as a pod. Instance you can call as pod also. Instances you can call as pod. So these are the naming conventions we have to understand when we are in the project. You deal with the test and production. Development instance is used by technical consultants, and test instance is used by functional consultant. Production is the one which is the final outcome of the implementation. So once everything is implemented, client will start using production instance. In production instance, we should not do any testings. That is a real instance which client will start using to record their day-to-day business transactions. So these are the points we have to understand. Any questions here from anyone, please? Any questions here, please? From anyone?
Do companies maintain this vision instance? Because I have seen test, development, and production.
See, client, they don't need vision instances. Say you are working for a company called as Wipro, or you are working for Infosys. The Wipro and Infosys are Oracle implementation partners. For Wipro, Infosys, or IBM, for these companies, Oracle provides vision instance so that in that company, the consultants who are there, they can use for internal purpose, for learning or internal trainings as a demo instance, they can use for internal purpose since there is some sample data. So test, development, production, these environments, Oracle will not provide to these consulting companies. These environments, they will provide to the clients only. Anyway, these environments not required for the consulting companies like Wipro, Infosys. So they do the implementation for the clients. That time they come across with these instances. Questions, please. Any other questions from anyone, please? Okay, no questions. Now, so when you are in the project, so we get access to test and production. Initially, we don't do anything in the production. In some projects, we don't get access to production immediately. First, we'll get access to test environment, how it works. So when you are in the project, you get the instance credentials, instance URL and username and password. You get instance credentials maybe directly from the client. Client will get this instance information from Oracle, and client will share with our implementation team directly. In some projects, client will not share with us. Client will share with our project manager. We will get the details from the project manager. So that's how that arrangement would be. Okay, you may get directly from Oracle, you may directly get from the client, or you may get directly from your project manager. Whatever it may be, the route doesn't matter. We get instance access. So when you get instance access, ideally what you can do is with the login credentials, you can access the instance, and we need to create separate user. Sometimes we can use the same user what Oracle is providing. Most of the cases we create user separately. Separately we create the user. So when you talk about user creation, say you got instance access and you are able to access the instance. Now you are going to work as a consultant. You are going to work as a consultant. Now you need a separate login credentials. For that purpose, we need to create the user. In the fresh instance, it could be test or development or production. These are the fresh environments. These are the fresh environments. In the fresh instances, whenever you are going to create the user, by default, the user what we create, we call as implementation user. We call as implementation user. We call as implementation user. Say you are implementing for a company called as Max. So you may create user as a Max, or else what you do if you are a finance consultant, you may create the user as a Fin consultant or Fin implementation or Fin IMPL. It's like relevant names you can use initially. Later going forward, in some projects what happens is when you are in the project, the project team means from client side team, they will create the username and they'll provide you with your email id directly. They'll create and they'll provide login credentials to instance with your email id. In some projects it doesn't work in that way. You'll get access to instance with a common username and you have to create your own user. In that scenarios, if you are belongs to financials, you may create as a Fin IMPL or Fin underscore IMPL, or else you may just create as a Fin, or you may create as a finance. So that's how you can create the user with any preferred name. You create one user. When you create the user, okay, say for example you are going to create a user as a Max. I'm taking the example as a Max. So you are going to create a user called as Max. And when you create a user as a Max, what purpose you are creating user as a Max? You want to work as a consultant, you need full access to the instance. You need full access to the instance. That is the reason you are creating the user. When you create the user, you need to give the permissions to that user. You need to give full permissions to that user so that that user can have a full access to the instance to do the implementation related activities. To do the implementation related activities, the user need full access. To give the access within the Fusion instance to any user, we use the concept called as roles. We use the concept called as roles. We call as role. So you want to work as a consultant, there are separate roles which you need access. You are working for payables application as an accountant, you need access to invoice creation and payment creation. Yes. AP related roles we need to assign to that user. There is one more accountant who is working for receivables application, receivables department. Now you have to give access to that accountant for receivables related roles. For every application, we have a separate roles. Who is going to work on GL application? We have separate roles. Who is going to work on fixed assets? We have separate roles. For each and every application to have access to access specific application, separate roles Oracle designed and they are delivering. They are providing the roles application specific. But now we are not talking about application specific roles. When we are going to work as a consultant, we need full access to all the applications to do the implementation. So for that, Oracle is providing the separate role. For the consultants, Oracle is providing the separate role. Let's see what roles Oracle is providing for consultants. So when you create the implementation user in the fresh instance, we need to assign two roles. We need to assign the two roles to our user so that from that user, we will have a full access to that instance so that we can do all the configuration, whatever you want to do as a consultant, all will be permitted. So the roles, just make a note. The one is application implementation consultant. One role is application implementation consultant role. We need access to this role. If you want to work as a consultant, we need access to application implementation consultant role. And another role. So when we are working as a consultant, along with this role, we need access to one more role that we call as IT security manager. IT security manager. So these are the two key roles required for consultants. If you are going to work as a consultant, you may be finance consultant, you may be SCM consultant, you might be HCM consultant, doesn't matter. If you are a functional consultant, any track, it's not only finance. It could be PPM, it could be procurement, it could be HCM, any track, irrespective of track. Okay, irrespective of track, if you are going to work as functional consultant, we need access to these two roles. What is there inside of these two roles? Okay, what is there inside of these two roles? What we can do with these roles? So if you have access to application implementation consultant role, if you have access to application implementation consultant role, this role will allow us to do the setups. Say we want to use payables application. If you want to use payables application, we have to set up, we have to arrange that application, then only we can record the invoices and we can process the payment. To record the invoices and process the payments, whatever the arrangements we have to do in the system or payables application, those we call as setups, or you can call as configuration. You can call as configuration, call as setups or call as configuration. So application implementation consultant role provision the access for us to do the setups or configuration. We can do the setups for which application? Any application. Those may be finance related applications or SCM related or HCM or PPM or procurement. Any application. When you get access to application implementation consultant role, you will get full access to the environment as a functional consultant. Okay, as a functional consultant, you'll get full access. You'll get full access. With that full access, you will be able to do the setups for any instance. So any application. Now, what is the purpose of IT security manager? So IT security manager role allows us to create new users. Say we are working as a consultant. There will be few employees who are working for payables department, receivables department, asset department. who are working for payables department, we have to give the access to payables application, and before that we have to create those employees as the users in the system. That means we need access. Okay, we need access to IT security manager so that we'll be able to create the user within the system. So we create the users and we can assign the roles. Assign roles means the employee who is working for payables, okay, the employee who is working for payables department, that user need access to payables application related tasks. For that, we need to assign payables roles to that user. We need to assign payables roles to that user. So these are the different purposes why we use these two roles. If you are going to work as a consultant, when you get access to the fresh instance, the first task for is create your own user and assign these two roles to this the same user. And when you look at this roles purpose, we are calling as application implementation consultant for the purpose of doing the setups for any application, IT security manager for the purpose of creating the users and assigning the roles, which user need access to which application, accordingly the relevant roles can be assigned. So as of now, these are the key points which we can understand about these two roles. The two roles Oracle is providing. Okay, Oracle is providing. So since Oracle is providing these two roles, these roles we call as seeded roles. Since Oracle is providing these two roles, these roles we call as seeded roles. Seeded roles means the roles which we get along with the instance, along with the standard product. Standard product means what Oracle is providing that you can call as standard product. So that's how it is. So Oracle is providing these two roles. That is the reason we are calling as seeded roles. We can create our own roles also. We will have a separate session to understand how we can create the roles our own. So the roles what we create, those roles we call as custom roles. We discussed customization means creating something new or modifying existing thing. The same way here we can create new roles or we can modify existing roles. Whatever it may be, you may create new or modify. That role is called as a custom roles. Okay, we call as a custom role. So the roles what Oracle is providing, we call as seeded roles. So these are the points we have to understand when we talk about user creation, the initial user creation, the roles which need to be assigned, and the purpose. So since roles are provided by Oracle, we are calling as a seeded roles. Now, any questions, please? Once we are done with that questions Q&A, we can jump into the environment and we'll see how to create the user. Any questions, please, on this point?
Lakshman, this implementation user is a kind of a super user role?
Yes. How that implementation user will become super user? Because of the super roles we are assigning. Just
Okay.
because of roles. Yes.
Yeah. And
You
one
can
more
come.
question from the instances. So, as you said in previous session, Oracle will charge based on the users also. So, if we create users in other instances, tester, development, those are also countable
No.
for charge?
Which is the
Only
real
production.
instance? Which is the real
Only
instance
production.
here? Only production. These are just kind of instances where we can test and validate for a different purpose. Real instance is only production. Okay, only production users only they count.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Any
In the
questions
lines of
here,
what
please?
Nishant has asked, so how does Oracle charge in the production instance? Is it by user, or is it based on the application?
The same point we discussed in the last session. Let me navigate to that here. See, So Oracle charges with this combination. So which applications you need subscription? For each application, how many users and what is the time frame? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, based on the combination of which application for that application. Take example, payables application. How many users we need? 50 users we need. And how much time frame? 5 years. So this is a combination system will consider to charge. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is
And,
Sadiq.
and
Please.
Today is my first session. I skipped. I didn't able to attend the previous sessions. Is this course going? Sorry, maybe it's not related to this subject.
That
This
we
course going to?
can, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Let's complete.
Is this course going to be what time, or can you just give me some daily or weekly weekends?
See, the same timings, 8 to 9:30.
8 to 9:30 on daily, or
It's Monday to Friday,
okay, Monday to Friday, 8 to 9:30.
8 to 9:30 IST.
Okay. So, and one more question. When you say here, there is any pre-prod environment Oracle is supporting with the, say, I'm already having working in the EBS for a long time. So, is there any pre-prod environment with the production data we might get it, like a cloned or
You
to
can
do the,
copy. See the data, what is there in the production, right? This can be
okay.
copied to test, this can be copied to development. If client want more instances, they can get, and frequently they can copy this production to other instances.
It will be part of the Oracle DBA
You
point
have
of
to
view or
pay
client side?
separately for that. You have to pay and you have to get.
No, will the Oracle DBA side will be done, or it will be done from
Yes.
the on-premises side?
Yes. Since these are the cloud environments, we no need to deploy any DBA team from our side. Any DBA activities are performed by Oracle DBA team.
If I want to refresh the instance, I need to raise the ticket to them to do the refreshment. This is what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay. So it will be copied with the data, right? With the
Whatever you
maybe I
want.
need.
You want to copy setups and data, or else you want to copy only transactions, or you want to copy only setups. Everything is possible from Oracle.
Because usually we do the operation supports through the we cannot touch the real environment, but we say -1 day or the real time data in the other instance
That's
with
what you
the
clone it. You clone. Okay.
clone it on. Okay.
Yes. The
So
production.
how long it will take for Oracle team to give the clone? Is that, do you have
You
idea?
can just simple. You can just raise SR today.
Okay.
Today or tomorrow they'll do it. That's it. They'll schedule it.
Okay.
They don't take much time. They can do on the same day or next day if they have many cloning schedules in the queue, right? So they can do in 1 or 2 days.
So how you will
I just
support in
want
case of so in the production support, maybe we need to check the real time, real issue. Maybe one of the payment is
See,
not able
same
to
story.
accounting.
How you mentioned you have been working on the EBS, right?
Yeah.
Same story is applicable here. Just only the difference is in case of EBS, that will be in our control, that is managed by our DBAs.
Yeah,
Here,
exactly. Yeah.
these are managed by Oracle DBA. Story remains same.
Because here we are getting in real time. In 30 minutes, we get the refreshment. I'm just giving we can get in 30 minutes. But if I want to do through this ticketing, all these things, it may take a lot of time, right? A lot of time, as you said, there
You
may be a
request
schedule.
bit early. You request bit
No,
early.
I don't know,
There are
right?
few
Maybe it's a
clients.
closing issue,
No,
maybe a
one
month
point
and
here, 1 point. There are few clients, big clients, what they do is they request Oracle to clone every day also. I have seen few clients.
yeah, we do the
Every
same
day.
here. We say -1 day data will be available always. We do the even we do some deployment in that instance,
Very
and then
simple,
we
very simple. How you want Oracle can help you in that way. Again,
okay,
it
okay.
all depends on what size client you are. You are a very, very small client. You are asking every day. That may not work. Okay. So it depends. But they can help
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions here, please?
Yeah, I wanted to know about these roles actually so the implementation access, who are implementing, they'll have the whole access till the security manager steps in. Once the security manager steps in, so he will take all the control, or again we need to request access from the security manager, something like that, or till the application goes live.
See, when we are working as a consultant in the implementation project, we need access to these two roles. Once implementation is done, then support will start. When you are into support, in some projects, some clients, they will allow you to have access to IT security manager in the production instance, and creating new users and assigning the roles, you may do it. In many projects, what they do is they don't give you access to IT security manager. They will have a separate administrator. So any new user creation, they will have internal approvals also. Once that is approved, they create the user and they provision the access with the respect to roles. The user, the employee is working for which department, accordingly they assign the roles. That's how it works in the reality.
Okay, understood.
It depends on the client. Some client says, okay, you access, we also access.
Yeah.
Some client says, no, we don't allow you to access. Anyway,
So
implementation is
it's
done,
based
right?
on completely on the department. So payable,
Yes.
receivable, every department they have different kind of access and different kinds of roles. So
Yes.
my question was, once the security manager steps in, so he will have the complete access, and I will be having as a role of administrator who can create a user or
See, that's
whatever
what,
the
that's what.
storytelling.
It's
Yeah.
not like there is no security manager, separate person who want to have a administration of users. That person will have access to IT security manager. That's it. Administrator, you can call.
Sure. Thank you.
Want to administrate user creations and role access to that person, we assign IT security manager. Same time, as a consultant, we can have access to IT security manager. In some projects, their client won't allow us to have access to IT security manager. Only their team will have access to IT security manager. This is all like arrangement, different from client to client. But during the implementation, we need access. We need access, then only we can implement. Once we implement, so who can take the responsibility of IT security manager for further new users creation or any modifications or role assignment? That client will take the decision. Sometimes they give access to us as well as they take access. Sometimes only they will take. Sometimes completely they may ask us, only we have to manage this part also, right? It depends. There is no rule. Okay. Any other questions, please?
Sir, may I know, is there any difference from technical and functional consultant apart and application implement consultant?
I didn't get your question.
Sir, is there any difference between application implementation consultant and technical or functional consultant?
See, two type of consultants primarily, technical and functional. If
Correct.
you are working as a functional, you need access to these two roles. If you are working as a technical consultant, you need different roles. Say you need access to report development. You need BA administrator related role. You'll be working on integrations. You need separate OIC instance access. Again, in OIC instance, we'll have a separate different roles within the OIC instance. That story is different. So we no need to think about technical consultant, what they need, because we don't worry about it. So when we are working as a functional consultant, what we need, we have to focus. Okay. Any questions here, please? Any other questions?
Hi, sir.
Please.
Am I audible?
Yep.
Currently, sir, I am just joining your class. This is my first demo, and
No. This we can see in the end of the session. Now let's focus on what we are discussing. Yeah. We'll talk about it so that we can spend more time if we can move it to end of the session.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, great. Any questions on this point, please? Any questions here, please?
One question. When the application in the real-time production environment for the clients, how many test instances does Oracle provide apart from the prod pod?
See, by default, they provide only 2 instances. Extra, how many you want, you can get it. For that, they charge. That's it. So they provide 2 instances. Ideal purpose is one for testing, another for production. The rest you can take 2 more, 3 more. You may take. You may have a 2 test instances and 2 development instances. You can have later those once implementation is done. So instead of 2 test instances, 1 instance you can use as a cloning instance. Whatever you have in the production that can be copied into that instance. So you can use for the different purposes. By default, 2 we get. Yes, extra we can get. For that they charge. Any other questions? Yep, you are not audible. Voice is very low. Yeah. Just fix it. First fix that issue, then we can talk about it. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, I'm audible.
Yeah, let's try.
Uh, Actually, sorry to ask for this. Actually, I just wanted to more with this application management trainings. So, but I don't have any idea on this. So, do you have any?
We just know we are running finance training.
Can I get an SCM recorded videos from your end?
Yeah, talk to the team. Talk to the team. Now, see, let's limit the discussions to the point what we are discussing. Okay, if any other questions that we have to see in the end of the session. Yeah, please. Okay. So hope you are clear on
So I do have one question.
Yeah.
So just say like the implementation consultant has been having access to the financials. So you can just for the new users you can just assign the roles of other things or HCM or for other applications.
I didn't get your question.
Just say like if the main user, just say like application implementation consultant having the role of financials. So you can just assign, as you said, it will just assigning the new roles to the upcoming users. So you can just assign like HCM applications to.
Yes. See, when you assign application implementation consultant role, it is not only for finance, not only for HCM, it's for all the tracks. All the tracks. So since you will have access to IT security manager, yes, you can create a number of users for any track purpose, any application purpose. You'll have a full access. Yeah. That's how it is. Fine.
Is there the big difference between EBS and Fusion where it seems like it's a big difference, right? Because in
Do you know
EBS,
EBS? Do you know
say that
EBS?
again? Yes.
Yeah, you'll come across that. We'll see like how it is different and all, right?
Right.
What
Right.
Oracle did is they copied EBS and they did some enhancement and the look and feel they changed, the way how it works, etc. Lot of framework they changed, but legacy is EBS only. Okay,
Right.
you know EBS, you can say you know Fusion 70%, but one round you have to go through where is what is where how it is. You know how to deal with the financials in EBS, but if you want to deal the same finance within the Fusion, you have to understand how the alignment in the Fusion applications. One round you have to go through, then you'll be able to handle.
Right. The point that I was trying to make is like typically the setups, whatever are there in EBS would be in the payables manager and whatever the setup manager of that particular application. But it seems like here the difference is everything is in the single
Correct.
user account. Okay.
Single user in the sense single role, application
Role.
implementation
Yeah, my bad.
consultant
Sorry.
role. Yes. That's how we'll come across. We'll see all those, how it is different. If you know EBS, yes, you will be able to differentiate by seeing this. Yep, we'll see those. Now let's jump into the instance and we'll create our own user. Okay. So let's jump into the instance to create our own user. So this is a cloud environment. Okay, this is a cloud environment. Let me just log out and log in for our understanding. So this is a cloud instance. So you will get the same URL for your practice purpose, and we will provide the user credentials. When you get instance access, what we do is we'll provide users, 3 users will provide. We'll have a separate naming convention, but for our understanding here, I'm going to give names like, say, user 1, user 2, user 3. This is how you'll get 3 users. For 3 users, password would be the same. Okay, password would be the same. For example, it may be welcome. Same password. Why you get 3 users? So what the guys are doing, like who are practicing, sometimes they are changing the password to the user 1. Since everybody is getting the user 1 access credentials, if one person is changing, the other guys who are trying to practice an instance, they are not able to connect. That is the reason we are giving the 3 users. Even somebody may change the password for this specific user, you can go on to check user 2, user 3. So that's how we are just providing some backup users. When you get access to the instance, there always you find 3 users, password remains same. So if one user is not working, you try to connect to the instance with a different user. So that is the idea behind these 3 users, why we provide. Now, so after this class, you follow the same what I'm going to do in the instance. Just I'm going to log into the instance by using one of the existing user. In the same way, you get user credentials with that user you log in. And I'm going to just walk through how to create our own user, how to assign the roles. From your side also, from that user, you log into the instance, you create your own user and you assign the roles. Whatever I am going to execute in the classes, you please try to do the same as a hands-on or just practice. That's how it is. So now our target is we want to create a user called as a max, and we want to assign these 2 roles. This is the target. So this is a cloud instance. This is a cloud instance. No add-ons, no plugins required, direct URL. You can log into the instance. You can access this instance from any internet enabled device. Even from your phone also you can log into the instance. But of course, it is not compatible to play with these applications, but you can log in. So here I'm using user pin IMPL. Just provide password, say sign in. So what is the target? We want to create the user and we want to assign the roles. Now, whatever we see in this home page, we will get to know very soon. Now there is no focus. We are not going to focus on this section we call as something, this section we call as so-and-so, this section we call as something else, not required. We will come to know those. We'll come to know those. And here you can see the name as a vision. This is a logo. Okay, this is a logo. This is a logo. Since its environment has sample data, Oracle is giving the logo as a vision. Tomorrow, when you do the implementation, here the client logo need to be updated. Okay, ideally that will be done by technical people. Even if you want to do how to do, we'll see that. Now, the target is we want to create our own user. To create our own user, here you see 3 bars. This you can call as hamburger icon, or you can call as navigator. Click on navigator icon. It will open one panel. So within this panel, go to section called tools. Here is a section called as tools. Okay, just log into the instance, click on navigator icon, go to tools section, go to tools section. So now under tools, whatever you see, this all we call as a task, T-A-S-K, task. All we call as tasks. Out of these tasks, look for the task called as security console. Hope you are writing all this. Very important. You should write it. Okay, please capture each and every point. The navigation, what we are taking, the points, what we are discussing. Please capture. Okay, please capture. Under tools, we have a task called as security console. Just click on security console task. Click on security console task. Now, so we are in this page. Now, what is our target? User creation. Here, select users. Select users. Click on users. Now, here you can create user accounts. To create the new user, click on add user account. Click on add user account. Just click on add user account. Now here you can provide very basic information to create the user. There are multiple fields that you can look at which are mandatory and which are optional. Here few fields are mandatory. Make sure you provide the data. Okay, the last name, username, password, confirm password. So the user what we are creating, that user we are calling as implementation user. But the real users are employees that we will see how to create. It takes some time for us to create. If you want to create employee specific users, we have to complete many setups in the instance. Then only we can create. But implementation user, yes, you can create directly without any setups. Directly you can create. Means implementation users are initial users. So those we can create directly. If you want to create users for employees who are going to work on these instances in the company, now we cannot create. We have to complete many setups, then you will be able to do it. That's how it is. Fine. Now we want to give the username as a max. I'm giving the same as a last name. I'm not entering the first name. So we'll understand what is the user category after some time. And you can provide the email, you can provide the phone number if required, and use the tab. The same last name system is taking as a username. Yes, I need username also as a max and password. So you can see what is the password policy here. There is I means information. If you place the cursor, it is showing what is the password policy. Simple, at least 8 characters, 1 number. This can be changed. This can be changed, that we will see after some time. Okay, first we'll focus on user creation. So you can set the password policy, whether policy should be simple or complex. You can set a rule. So how many special characters should be, how many numbers should be, how many total characters, is all you can set. That we will see. Now you can enter your password and confirm the password. Enter password and confirm the same. Now click on save and close so that our user would be ready, but no roles are assigned to this user. Now itself, if you want to assign the roles, click on add roles tab. But we want to assign the roles after some time. First, we want to create the user record. Okay, just we are providing the last name, we are giving the username, and we are providing the password, and the same we are confirming. Click on save and close. Just click on save and close. Now user is created. You can search and find. Still we are in user accounts page. Here you can search for our user. Username is Max. And hit search icon. Now here is our user account. The display name, the last name what we given at the time of user creation, system is taking as a display name. And for username also we given same. We didn't provide any email ID. And system is taking this user record as an active record. The user is active. The user account is not locked. If user account is locked, you cannot log into the instance. And here you could see few actions which you can perform against this account. So with this user, you can log into the instance. What we can do? Nothing, because nothing is assigned to this user. This user is empty user. No roles are assigned. If roles are assigned, as per the role, this user can have access to the relevant environment area or applications. But now, just plain user, nothing is there inside, no roles are assigned. So this user account level, what actions you can perform, we can see here. Click on actions, drop down. If you want to log this user account, you can log. If you click on log account, this account will be logged. This user cannot log into the instance since account is locked. If you want to reset the password, during the user creation, already we set the password for this user account. At any point of time, if you want to change the password, you can use the reset password. Okay, you can use reset password. And you can delete the user also. The user will be deleted only from this page, not from the backend. Deleting user is not a best practice. We should not delete. Say for example, you created a user, with that user you created some transactions also. That time you are deleting. And the record, user record will remain in the database. It will be removed from front-end access purpose. That's it. It's not real deletion. So from front end, you cannot access the user, and the back end it would be there. Again, that will support existing transactions where that user created transactions. So that purpose, the user will remain, but reality, we never delete the users. So if required, you may log the account so that the user cannot log into the access to the instance. That's how it is. And if you want to compare this user with another user, say you want to compare this user with another user, then you can use compare user action. Okay, one user you want to compare with another user. What purpose? The roles purpose. Which roles are assigned to user 1? What roles are assigned to user 2? Between these two users, you want to conduct the comparison. In that case, you can compare one user with another user. And copy user. Say I created this user. To this user, I assigned multiple roles. I need one more user with the same roles. So I can copy this user. All the roles will be copied. That's how I can quickly create the one more user. So these are the different actions we can perform. So here mostly we use reset password purpose only these actions. Rest we don't no need to do that. If required, you can lock. Deletion generally we don't do. Comparison also we don't need to do that. We maintain outside of the system. Copy user if required you do. Otherwise, you can just create and you can assign the roles as required. So these are the different actions which you can perform. Now, just if you want to reset the password, you can set reset. You can click on reset password, select manually change the password, enter password, and confirm the same. Say reset. So this is how you can reset the password. So when you practice, don't reset the password for the users what we are sharing with you for our initial login purpose. Whatever the user you create, you can test all this. Don't test resetting the password for the users which we are going to share for you. Because the same users are used by other participants also. Those are not only for you, those all are for entire batch purpose. So that is reason, please don't reset the password for the users which you get from our side. You create your own user and you play with that user resetting password, locking the account and other actions, whatever you want to test. Now, so user is ready. We'll go and assign roles to our user. You may click on display name or you may click on username. The both got hyperlink. You can see there is a hyperlink. I'm just clicking on username. So user record is open. This is how we created user. And no roles are assigned to this user. Roles are blank. No data to display. No roles are assigned. To assign the roles, you have to turn this user account or user record into editable mode. Just click on edit. Click on edit. Now scroll little down. And to assign the roles, click on add role. Click on add role. Click on add role. Now which roles you want to assign? We know the two roles we need to assign. One is application implementation consultant role for the purpose of doing the setups in the system. Now here search for application implementation consultant. So I'm not going to search for the entire name. I will use application implementation so that we will see some similar roles and let's talk about those. So I'm searching for application implementation. Now you can see different roles which starts with application implementation. So we have application implementation administrator role, we have application implementation consultant role, and we have application implementation manager role. So we have administrator, consultant, manager role. So which role is powerful? The application implementation consultant role is powerful compared to administrator and manager. Consultant role will have a full privileges to work as a consultant. The administrator role and manager roles will have a certain limitations. Certain activities you cannot perform from those roles. You will have a full privileges from the role called as application implementation consultant role. So always you assign application implementation consultant role. We no need to assign application implementation manager or application implementation administrator roles to our user. So now search for application implementation consultant. When you search for application implementation consultant role, here you can see the same role, application implementation consultant, application implementation consultant. Okay, two records, same name. But if you look at the code, under name, what you see that we call as role code, some short name kind of thing, role code. So the codes are different. Role code is different. So this role is starting with ASM, but this role is starting with ORA ASM. So always prefer to select the role which is starting with ORA. We have two more roles here. These two roles only somebody copied. We will learn how to copy the roles, how to modify the roles, how to create the roles from the scratch. We'll have a separate session. So here you can see application implementation consultant, application implementation consultant. What is the difference? Role names are same, but codes are different. Which one we have to choose? Which is starting with ORA. Compared to this role will have a more privileges again, ORA. So when you are working for client, in the client instance, so they don't display these two roles. The first role only you see. Okay, the first role only you see, just which is starting with ORA. If you find some instances, they populate the two roles also. In that case, carefully choose which is starting with ORA. That's it. Very simple. So we need to assign the role called as application implementation consultant role to our user where role code is starting with ORA. Means from Oracle, they are taking first 3 letters, ORA. So that's how it is. Now click on that role. The same is displaying here. Same role somebody copied. You can see application implementation consultant copy. So that ignore it. So this is a seeded one. Application implementation consultant role is seeded one. Now select this record. Just click on it. Now click on add role membership. Add role membership is nothing but we are assigning this role to our user. Add role membership is nothing but assign role to user. So we selected role called as application implementation consultant and click on add role membership so that the role can be assigned to our user. If you see in the background, the application implementation consultant role is already selected for our user. Now we have one more role already discussed. We have one more role. That role is IT security manager role. The role name is IT security manager. Now search for IT security manager role. IT security manager. Here also you can notice the role name is IT security manager and here also IT security manager. What is the difference between these two roles? One role is starting with ORA, another role is starting with just FND. So always prefer to choose, if you find any role with the 2 copies, always prefer to select which is starting with ORA in the code. The rest of roles, the same 2 roles they copied and they clearly written, these are copied, do not use. Okay, ignore it. Anyway, those we don't need. So when you are working in the real project, you don't find this. You will find only this name. You can find 1 or 2, but if you find 2, select only which is starting with ORA. That's how it is. So I'm selecting IT security manager role. So here,
Lakshman, one question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. What's the difference between Aura FND IT security job manager job versus FND IT security manager job?
Some few privileges difference should be there, which is starting with ORA, it is powerful compared to which is starting with FND. Few privileges you don't find which is starting with FND. That's it. Everything you will find in the which is starting with ORA. Okay, certain activities you cannot do with those roles which are starting with FND. Everything you can do which is starting with ORA. That is the difference. Okay. Now select IT security manager role. Select IT security manager role. The code is starting with ORA. Click on add role membership. So in the background you can see it's assigned. Now click on done. So to our user, we assign the 2 roles, application implementation consultant and IT security manager role. Cool. Now click on save and close. Because you assigned, that need to be saved. So save it, save and close. Now click on done. Now we completed user creation and also we assigned a roles assignment. We assigned 2 roles, application implementation consultant and IT security manager. The 2 roles we assigned. Now, if you assign application implementation consultant role to any user, what we can do? We can do the setups. To do the setups, Oracle is providing one environment that we call as FSM. Okay, Oracle is providing environment called as FSM. So FSM stands for functional setup manager. So by using FSM, you will be able to do the setups. If you assign application implementation consultant role to any user, that user will get access to FSM. Because of this role, the user will get access to FSM. FSM stands for Functional Setup Manager. With the help of Functional Setup Manager, we can do the setups. If you assign IT Security Manager role to any user, that user will be able to create the new users. They can assign the roles to new or existing users. When you assign IT Security Manager role to user, that user will get access to Security Console. If you assign IT Security Manager role to any user, that user can access to Security Console. If the user is able to access to Security Console, from Security Console only, we can create the users and we can assign the roles to that existing or new users. So it means we assigned application implementation consultant role to our user to get access to FSM so that we can do the setups. And we assigned IT security manager role to our user to get access to security console so that we'll be able to create the users and we can assign the roles. So this is what exactly we have to understand. Now we will log into the instance with our own user. Because of this
Sorry,
role,
we can consider this FSM or user assigned roles are similar to the functions in EBS?
roles are not functions. These
No,
roles
I mean
compare with the
FSM.
responsibilities.
No, I mean to say FSM and user or assigned role.
Responsibilities. Responsibility. You have to consider as a responsibility. Or if you want to compare, you can call it as a menus.
Menus. Okay.
That's how it is. Fine. So we'll log into the instance as a max user. Because of application implementation consultant role, are we able to access to FSM or not? We will check. And because of IT security manager, are we able to access to security console or not? We'll check. We'll go on to test it. So log out.
Once we
1 second,
sorry
let me complete. Yeah, let me complete. I'll stop every time. I will stop. Once I complete something, I'll stop. If you are getting more questions, just make a note. Yeah. So just make a note. We will discuss. All questions we'll discuss. Please. So I'm going to log into the instance as a max user. Okay, we are able to connect. Now we want to check. We assigned application implementation consultant role that should allow us to access to FSM. We will check this user got access to FSM. How to check? So click on the username. Okay, here is the username, right top corner. So click on username, one panel is open. So within this panel, there is one task called as setup and maintenance. If you see this task, you can understand this user got access to FSM. So this task will navigate us to FSM only. If you click on setup and maintenance task, it will navigate us to FSM. Let's click on setup and maintenance. Now this page we call as FSM page. From here, you can do any application related setups. Here select financials. Here we have a label as a setup. Here select financials. I'm selecting financials. So I want to do payable setups. I can do from here. If I select payables, payable related setups are available here. I want to set up expense application related setup. I want to set up fixed assets application related setups. I want to set up receivable setups. So this is how, which application I want to do the tax setups. So which application related setups you want to do, that you can select and you can do the setups. That's how this FSM is facilitating the configuration environment, which is centralized. Any application related setups you can do from here. Say you want to do procurement related setups. Of course, we never do it, just for our understanding. Go to procurement. So which application setups you want to do? You can select here. So you want to do the setups related to supplier portal. You want to do the setups related to sourcing application. You want to do setups related to procurement contracts. So this is how we can select and we can do the setups. So this user is able to access to FSM. We got a confirmation. Now this user should get access to security console because of IT security manager. We'll go and check it. So to check whether this user got access to security console or not, click on navigator. So within the navigator, go to tools section. Go to tools. Go to tools. So under tools, go to security console. We are able to see the security console. How we got the security console? Because this user got access to IT security manager role. If IT security manager role is not assigned to this user cannot see security console task under tools. Now just we got a confirmation, but still we want to enter into that. Click on security console. Yes, we are able to access the security console. If you want to create a user, click on users. Click on add user account. Yes, the page also opening. You can enter and you can add the roles. Yes. So our user got access to FSM because of application implementation consultant role. And our user is able to access to security console just because of IT security manager role. So that's what we have to understand about user creation and role purpose. Which role will give access to what? These are the points we have to understand very high level. Going forward, we'll go deeper and deeper what is applicable with these roles. So we are done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. We will discuss. So we just scheduled classes 8 to 9:30. So we'll just be within the scope as per our plan. If you want to stay back to just learn from the questions which are asked by other participants, you may stay back, or else if you have any priorities, you may quit. So we are done for today. From my side, no discussions. From your side, any questions, please? Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, once we create a user and without assigning roles, implementation user, IT security, what are the basic privileges that user can have?
No privileges.
I mean, basic.
The user can log in, that's it. Log into
Oh,
instance. And
and
no
one more.
access is provisioned.
Okay. One more question. After assigning implementation consultant role to the user, if I want to limit some setup for that user, can we do that?
Yes, we can do. We can customize the role, or we can create the new role by including what access you want to give. But in case of consultant, such kind of limit is not required.
Okay.
So
Okay,
what
got it.
access
So,
you want to give to user, accordingly you can create the custom role, means new roles. That we will
okay.
see. We
Incoming.
have a separate session for that.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned that we cannot delete the user from the backend. We can just log that user. Take an example. If any transaction created by that user.
1 second.
Yeah.
We cannot delete from the backend, but from front end display purpose, we can delete.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Locking is again other concept. Yes.
Okay. Okay. But my question is, if that user has created some transaction and we have logged that user, so what will happen to that transactions? Will it accessible by other users?
We are locking the user. When you lock, what happens? That user cannot access to the instance. That's it. The transactions which are recorded, already recorded. New transactions cannot be recorded by that user.
Okay. And already existing transaction that will be.
I'm talking about existing only.
Okay.
Existing transaction is already recorded. Those remain as it is.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So
Yeah.
new transactions are not allowed because user, first of all, not able to log into instance.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And last question. Suppose we are working as a consultant, and if any user requested to add new rules, so that is handled by consultant, or is there a other team will work on that?
Yeah, the same point. When we are in the project, support project, it happens. When you are when it is implementation, we handle everything. Once
Yes. Correct.
implementation is done, the support there will be support team. So the client may allow the support team to perform all these user creations assignments, or else from client side there will be separate team, one or two people will handle this kind of task. That is a client interest. There is
Okay.
no rule. In some projects we see we handle, in many projects we see client team will handle, in few projects you will see both handles.
Okay. So it's depend on the business.
Yeah, it depends on the client. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Lakshman, suppose in case after creating application implementation consultant role, will it
Not creating. We are
provide?
not creating it. We are assigning.
Okay. After assigning this role to, you are assigned, for example, Max. Once this is applied, this role is assigned to Max, can he able to create the purchase invoice, process payment, cash,
See. Try to
cash receipt
understand.
also?
I clearly written here. This is only for setup purpose, not for transaction purpose. If you want to create requisitions, purchase orders, you have to assign purchasing application roles to this user.
Oh,
this is only for setup purpose, not for transactions. Yeah,
okay.
That's how it is. Any other questions, please?
Quickly, Lakshman, when would we get access to the instance so we can start practicing these things?
Yeah, you will get the access. We will share the access probably by tomorrow morning.
Okay, no problem, Lakshman. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lakshman,
Please.
can I get the plan or for this course plan?
Yes,
What will
we
be
will
the
share the
modules
complete course curriculum tomorrow. In the tomorrow session, I'll walk through the curriculum also.
You will start with the GL or what is
Yes. See, that's very simple. If you want to understand that, so we start with AP.
Okay.
So GL is nothing. GL, we don't do real business activities in GL, right? We start with AP, then we'll just complete P2P, then we'll go to AR, then we'll work on cash management, then we'll work on FA, final will come to GL. So in between or later, we will just work on expense application, expense management, and as well as we'll see the tax. That's how we close.
Okay. So because when you go to the AP, before you will have to have chart of accounts, set of rules.
Those are the basic setups we'll do, but we don't focus on entire GL.
Okay. So you will cover that in the beginning,
Yes,
right?
we should. Otherwise, we cannot proceed.
So another thing, what I understand from the above one is application implementation consultant. I'm just trying to compare with the EBS. So it is the role is equivalent to the responsibility. This is what you mean? And the
Yes.
FSM is the
System administrator responsibility. If you have access to system administrator responsibility, you can create application specific responsibilities. From those application specific responsibilities, you can do respect to application setups, right?
Yeah, usually we create many responsibility for each
correct. Here, instead of
each
creating
module,
many,
here instead
only
of
one
each
role.
module, we are getting all in FSM in one single role itself.
Exactly. True.
Okay.
Here
Okay.
is a very centralized environment. FSM means centralized environment to perform the setups.
Usually we create that many module, we create that many super user or based on OU. Here everything comes under the single role.
Environment, yes.
Yes.
FSM,
Okay.
yes, true. Here, like in EBS, that is decentralized.
Yes.
Want to do the setups. Here, they centralized.
So again, if it is multi BGs, all these things, how it will be part of role?
We will see. We have to wait.
Okay.
We have to
Okay.
wait.
Got
When
it.
we talk
Okay.
about those, I'll compare with EBS also.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, fine.
So is it how many months the duration of this course?
2 to 3 months. Because
And how many days you will get the access to the instance?
say duration is 3 months. After completing this course, 3 more months you can get access to the instance. Total 6 months. After 6 months also, if you need, inform to our team, we can provide the access. There is nothing in that, just it's all about you want to practice. Yes, it is available with us, we will share. Yeah,
Actually, getting time to the practice is the difficult with the work environment. Okay.
No, you will get it. You will get it. If required, you can let us know. 6 months, yes, by default, everybody will get. After 6 months, also, if you need, just keep in touch with our team. They can extend.
Okay. So in the tax, you will cover all the real-time scenarios like APAR or all the areas you will be covering, right?
Yeah, we will set up a resume to rate flow. How that resume, tax, status, rates, that alignment.
Okay.
So that will trigger the tax wherever applicable.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And under the tax, we can see localizations also, like GST and all.
See, we are going with the fusion tax, how you can configure. Depending on the country, you can do the configuration.
Okay, got it.
So which country you are doing, just what level tax works, that you'll be able to do it once you understand it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So any other questions?
As everyone is from different background and everything, is there any group, WhatsApp group or something that we can network
No group.
and discuss an issue?
Any other questions, please?
What about the reports, Mr. Lakshman?
What about?
The reports.
Yeah, reports Oracle is providing as a seeded reports. When we are working on the application, just we will come across. We will see those, and what reports Oracle is providing, we can walk through those. We will understand those.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't need to do anything with the report. Just we have to understand what reports we have. Just we should know, and just we can submit, and we will be able to understand what information that report is fetching. That is more than enough. Because when we are working as a functional consultant, we don't develop any reports. That is a job of technical.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the financial reporting studio and all?
That we have to work. That is our job only. FRS, Financial Reporting Studio, which is almost equal to FSG in EBS.
Okay.
We'll work on it. Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Lakshman, can you please give me the access to see the recording sessions?
Yes, see, last 3 sessions, whatever we completed, we posted in YouTube itself. And this session also we are going to post. Till tomorrow session, we will post. From the 6th session onwards, we are going to place only in the Google Drive. We will start sharing the drive access for the guys who already completed subscription.
So,
yeah.
Do you have class tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday, right?
Tomorrow is Saturday, no class, yes. For evening batch, no class, yes. Monday will connect.
Thank you.
Yeah. Monday to Friday only, yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Lakshman. During the practice, if we get any problem, if we stuck anywhere, so how can I connect?
We will share one support contact number. You can talk to them and they will help you.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions, please? Great. Seems to no questions. So that's all for today. We'll just catch up on Monday. And the guys who already subscribed, yes, we'll put these videos in the drive, and by tomorrow, first off, we'll just make sure you will get access, including the instance. We'll do that. Fine. Any questions? Somebody unmuted? No. Fine. Okay. So that's all for today. See you on Monday. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Lakshman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you on Monday.